Welcome, everybody. This is our third in a series of webinars, and today we're going to be talking about working with promotions in NCR Counterpoint. This is Andy Smith. Just wanted to tell you two things from a housekeeping perspective. Number one, we'll be making a recording of the webinar, and after it is over, we'll be sending an email later this afternoon with a link so that you can access that. We also are posting this on our website so that you can access this and any of the other webinars we've offered. Second point, we'll be having the ability to ask questions. If you go to the bottom of your screen with your cursor, you'll see Q&A, and you can click on that and ask questions. If the questions are specific to your store, we'll follow up with you directly. And if they're general, at some point during the presentation, I'll let the presenters have an opportunity to answer those questions. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues, Archie and Bart.
Thanks, Andy. Hi, everyone. My name is Archie Plencia, and for those of you that do not know me, I am a retail systems consultant here at Rapid, and together with Bart McCluskey, who is the president of our company, we're going to be talking to you today about working with promotions within the NCR Counterpoint.
Archie and I are really excited about this presentation because we think promotions are something that is going to be really important now that people are getting comfortable getting out, and so we want to be sure to give them a reason to visit your store, and so we're going to hopefully give you some ideas and maybe even discover a few things you didn't know that Counterpoint can do.
All right, perfect. So moving on to this next slide. So for today's agenda, we're going to be talking to you about some promotional strategies that you can implement in using the NCR Counterpoint system. We're going to, of course, do a live Counterpoint demonstration on how to set up those promotions. We're going to jump into Counterpoint as well as to show you how to test and run those promotions to make sure that they're calculating the pricing. And then we're also going to talk to you about controlling priority. And then after we do the demonstration, we'll just hit on some advanced topics, and then we'll lead into next steps. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to this next slide and 6 promotional strategies. So basically, we just want to kind of run through these 6 strategies, talk a little bit about them, the importance of them, and then, of course, jump right into the demo. So the first one that we want to talk to you about are store-wide percent markdowns. And these are basically one of the easiest promotions to implement because basically, you're just doing a percent markdown on everything in the store. And one of the benefits of store-wide markdowns are it can attract new customers as well as existing customers. And then one of the maybe cons or disadvantages is that it doesn't target any overstocked items. So we'll talk about that strategy in just a second.
Arch, one of the things I always like to remind people of too is that if they have a store that has a wide variance in margins from category to category, this might not be such a good strategy, or they may want to exclude certain categories from this from a store-wide markdown promotion.
Yep, good point. All right, and then the next strategy are specific category markdowns. Now, this obviously takes it one next level where you can basically mark down a specific category and put that as part of your promotion. This basically retains full margin on other categories purchased. You use to exit seasonal categories, and you can use it to exit poor performing categories. So again, part of that strategy of helping you to move through your inventory by controlling it down to category. Again, maybe a con or a disadvantage of this type of markdown is that it won't drive as much traffic as maybe a store-wide markdown would.
Perfect. I've got a couple of promotional strategies that I'm going to discuss. The first one is a targeted item promotion, and this is probably the most common, the one that you think of most immediately whenever you think about promotions. And this is one of the reasons I like a targeted item promotion is because it does allow you to target your overstocked items, and so you do want to pick those so that you can move those items out of the store, but you also at times it's not just overstock items you want to pick. You may also wish to pick items that really drive traffic into your store. So something that's going to resonate and get people coming in. However, don't just pick an item where a customer would come in and buy only that item. So think about items that drive traffic and have complementary products that you would be able to add on. And when we're doing targeted item promotions, there's always a good opportunity to advertise while supplies last, while quantities last, because that gives your customer an impetus to get into the store now, and get into the store early. So targeted item promotions are common, and we think that they can be very, very effective. But in addition to targeting items, you can choose to use Counterpoint to target specific customers. So you can run a promotion that's only for members. You could run a promotion that's only for customers, for your commercial customers or seniors. And then lastly, you could even run a promotion that says, I want to do this only for my big spenders. And so you can get this 10% discount, but only if the ticket's over $200.
Great. And the other promotional strategy we'll be talking to you about are what we call multi-buy deals. This is a little bit more complex, but these are things such as BOGOs, otherwise known as buy one, get one free, or a buy 6 or more and get 20% off a specific item. But the variations are endless. And these types of multi-buy deals are really there to help pick products that are commonly bought in multiples, that are bought in multiples. Yep. And then they're especially effective with premium products, right? Like take, for example, a liquor store. If they want to move higher end liquors, you can move those high end items by using buy one, get ones. And then the other thing is, don't offer a discount on the second if customers normally buy in pairs, right? Because you want to get customers to buy more than what they normally would.
And the last thing about strategies that we want to talk about before we move off this slide is to remind you, it's not always about price. So here are some ideas of other things that you can do that are equally effective at bringing people into your store. So a sweepstakes or a drawing of some sort. Free prizes with every purchase. Free samples can be very effective. Demonstrations, even webinars like the webinar we're doing now, where you're demonstrating a particular product and giving explanations, or you're training people in the use of your product. If you're a garden center, perhaps we're talking about information for first-time gardeners. All of these things can be really effective ways to get people interested in your store. I also like to emphasize exhibits, particularly exhibits that have a high local relevance, as well as local celebs. That those promotional strategies can bring people in. And then lastly, never miss an opportunity to promote during a holiday. So we've got Memorial Day coming up, but as you think through the holidays through the year, you can always find something in your store that applies to that particular holiday and gives reason to be front of mind for each of your customers.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing just to add to that is another idea is product reviews. So feel free to review the products that you sell, in store, or post them on your social media sites like Facebook, because that really gives you an opportunity to, again, interact with your customers. All right, with all that being said, then let's go ahead and take a look how each of these promotional strategies are set up in your NCR Counterpoint system.
So we're going to start today by talking about the item targeted promotions, because again, that's the most common one. And so when we want to set those up, we'll go to inventory, and then prices, And you might think the place that we would want to go next is promotional prices, and indeed that is what we're going to end up generating as a promotional price. But Counterpoint makes these most common ones easier to set up than using that promotional prices window, and they do that through the plan promotions window. So let's click on this button, and we'll bring up our plan promotions dialog. And again, this is all, you don't use this whenever you're doing fancy promotions, but when you've got a promotion that basically says, I want these 5 items or these 10 items at this special price, this is the easiest and best way to do it. So let's create our group code and give a description and indicate when we're going to start and end this promotion. And then the first thing, then we're going to go down below and we're going to select our first item that we're going to put onto promote. So in this case, let's say that this item is, we can see that its normal price one is $29, and we can enter in a discount percent and say that we want to run this at 20% off. And then we tab through and that goes up to the top. And now we can add another one. Art, you need to get on a new line.
Oh, sorry.
And now it changed the initial one. So go back to the new one.
Well, why don't we just start on right over?
No. So in this instance, we're going to pick another item. And this time, instead of advertising at 20% off, we can see that this item is normally $29, and maybe what we want to do instead of, or $13.99, instead of doing it for $13.99, what we want to do is sell this for $9.99. So in the promo price field, we're going to type in $9.99. You can see that it's calculating and let us know that this is going to be a 28% discount, so we can decide if that's too high or too low. And then we tab through here and it goes up to the top. After we've done these steps, all that we need to do to make this promo active on the date specified is click the Create Promo button, and we're done. So now that we've looked at that, Arch is going to show us how to set up store-wide and category promotions.
Perfect. So as I mentioned, we can do a store-wide promo. And basically the way we do that's very similar. We're back in our inventory area and we're in prices, and we're going to go this time though into promotional pricing. And already, just for time's sake, I have the promotion already set up. Let me drag it over. And so basically, let's just say that we want to take we're going to do a Memorial Day weekend promotion, right? And we want to have a 5% discount store-wide. So as you can see, I already set up my 5% store-wide Memorial Day promotion right here. And then what you would basically do is, of course, set the date. So I set it for the weekend of Memorial Day. So it starts this coming Friday, and then it ends on, of course, Memorial Day, which is Monday. And then when I go into my rules tab, I basically can go in and then set my rule up. So of course, I don't want to have any customers have to purchase a minimum of anything, but I do want to define the discount percent off of the price one. And again, it's going to be 5%. And so once I define that, then that automatically comes in and it will basically apply the promo. If I wanted to go and I'll combine these two, but I talked about also doing a category specific promo, then this is also where you would go in and define that specific category as well. And then once I'm done defining these this type of promo, then what you'll want to do is use our pricing tool. And so this is a nice utility that allows you to test, your promotions just to make sure that everything's calculating correctly and it's exactly what you want, the price and the promotion to be. So basically, where you access that pricing tools, you'll go into your utilities area, and then you'll use this price test. So when I click on that price test, this is where then I can start to test my promos. So for that 5% store-wide Memorial Day promo, I can, ring in an item. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in this item number, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on Get Price. Now you're noticing that my promo did not kick in, and the reason is because of my date, right? So I set it for my Memorial Day weekend, not for today. So I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, so let's just say that I'm going to set it for the start, which is this Friday. And once I set that date and then click on that Get Price, then as you can see, the system automatically calculates that 5% discount off of the price. And this is where I know now that I've correctly set up my promotion. All right, and then likewise, I can do the same thing with categories. So just really quickly, if I could go back into my pricing and just show you how I set up my, let's just say for this Memorial Day weekend, I wanted to have, a 10% discount off of all California wines, right? So you can see again, I set that and it's gonna turn it on for this Friday, end it on Monday. And then basically, as I showed you earlier, I can do a 10% discount, and then I can define my category as being item category 500, which is basically my California wines category. So again, as you can see, when I do that price test or when I implement this promotion, then I can see that any item that is part of that category, so if I just ring that up here, and then I set my date, then my Get Price, you can see that the 10% promotion off of California wines was applied to the specific item so that I know that this is now properly calculated.
Perfect. Now, doing I also talked earlier about doing a promotion for only specific customers, or even requiring that the ticket be a certain amount in order for a discount to apply. And so it's really not all that different than what Archie just set up. So Arch, let's go on and open that up and take a look at how we do those. So if you remember, when Archie set up the promotions, go ahead. He set dates, and so that's just exactly the same. And when we look at this particular promotion that I set up for VIPs, if we go to this first tab, prices, we can see that's just the same as the others that Archie set up as well, where we said it's 10% off any item, 10% off price one for any item without any minimum quantity. And then and on the items tab, you can see that I set this up again, just like Archie's, where it only applies to those California wines, things that are in item category 500. But I did a few extra things. So I went to the customers tab, and I said that it only applies if the customer's category is special. Now you might have a lot of you might have called VIP. You might call it there could be many different customer categories that you have, but in my case, I just wanted to select only if the customer is a special customer. And then lastly, on the sales tab, I said that the total retail value has to be at least $250. So you can see we engaged all four of these tabs in order to set up this promotion, so that you have to be VIP. It only applies to California wines, and you have to purchase a total of $250 in order for this particular promotion to apply. So that's a really great, hopefully what you've seen is how to use each one of these tabs to set up a promotion that's very targeted exactly who you want to target to.
Perfect. And so with that being said, just a reminder that if there are any questions, do feel free to click in the Q&A chat and list your questions there. But basically, again, what we want to we emphasize is do not forget to promote your promotions, right? So there's lots of different ways to do that. As we mentioned sort of earlier with social media, emphasize your locale, use celebrities if you can, do the traditional local print media, guerrilla marketing with like, branding water bottles, face masks, or hand sanitizers.
Good. I think these are all good ideas, Arch, and I think you're right. It is really important to not forget to not forget to promote your promotion, because a promotion that no one knows about is nothing more than a margin loss opportunity. We've got to increase sales if we're going to do that. Andy, do we have any questions?
Yeah, actually, I have a couple of questions here. One question that came in is if two promotions activate like store-wide promotion and promotions by category, will both be applied?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Arch, can we go back to the pricing screen? So we're back here at inventory prices, and when you set up your different contract prices, promotional prices, or special prices, you really need to think about it the way Counterpoint thinks about it. And the way Counterpoint thinks is, I'm going to find my first special price for this item, my first promotional price for this item that applies, and that's the one that's going to win. And the way that it does is it follows alphabetical order, thankfully, oddly enough. So if you have a contract price for an item, that price is going to apply first. If you have a promotion, if you don't have a contract price for that item, then the promotional price is going to apply. If you don't have a promotional price, then a special price applies. And if you don't have any of the three, then of course you get price one. But even within promotional prices, Arch, if we can click on that. Even within promotional prices, you can set a priority. And so, so it's possible, for example, to have two different promotions for the same item that are active at one time. For instance, we could have if you remember, we had the VIP for the California wines, as well as the a different percent off for California wines for people who are non-VIP. But the way it's set up currently, the VIP, the first one that would fire, because it fires in order of priority, it would never get down to evaluate if VIP customer was. And so since the VIP customer is a better deal, we should move it up ahead of the non-VIP. And now we're sure that it would apply first. And be able, and so that if I am a VIP customer, I would get that price. But if I'm not, it would cascade down to the California wines promotion.
Perfect. I have another question on. Can you explain the difference between a special price and promotional price?
You bet. If you go into the special prices window, and let's do that, Arch, you'll find that it looks almost identical to the promotional prices window. You have those same four tabs that down at the bottom, and so the key difference is we don't have those dates to control when it starts and it ends on a special price. And then the other key difference is that it is lower in priority than the promotional price. So to be honest, most of our clients only use contract prices and promotional prices. We have very few clients who use special price, but it is something that's available to you if you want something that's always your lower priority.
Great. And we have about 5 minutes. Could you quick show us a buy one, get one?
Sure. All right, so that was, again, one of those multi-deals that we talked about earlier. And basically, when you set up a buy one, get one, you, again, would go into your promotional pricing area. And then, as you can see, I have one preset already. So here's my BOGO. And kind of touching what Bart mentioned earlier, you notice I'm in promotional pricing, so I have this main tab with the dates. Special pricing, again, did not have that tab, right? But going back to BOGO, when I click on rules here, then I can define my, like if we want to do a buy one, get one for Father's Day, then basically what you can do is you would select your use BOGO or 2 for pricing checkbox, as well as require full group to qualify, meaning that you have to buy, you know, in that group in order to qualify for the buy one, get one. But basically what we said here is that if you buy one, right, you just have to buy one and there's no discount, there's no promo on just buying one. But when you buy the second, then you would have, you know, a fixed price of basically free or $0. You can also do this with a discount percent of 100. So you have a couple different options there. And then you can define your specific items. So in this case, I clicked on my items tab here, and then I selected this Maker's Mark whiskey since it is Father's Day. And so that's something that I want to offer to the dads that are my customers. And then basically, again, if we go into
Archie, I don't think we're going to have time to do the price check. Let's go on and run to the next steps if we could.
Okay. Yep. Let's go ahead and we bring this up. And next steps. So just in terms of, remember to go ahead and rewatch the webinar from 2 weeks ago about inventory reporting. And just a nice reminder, because this will also help you to design a promotion in order to, as an example, if you wanted to get rid of any overstocked inventory that you have. So again, using categories or any of those promotional strategies that we just talked about. Second is kitting is also a great promotional strategy. And what is kitting, you ask? Well, then sign up for our next free webinar, which is next week. And we're going to talk to you about all things kitting.
Perfect. We also want you to analyze the effectiveness of your promotions because you want to know what's working and what's not working. We don't have time to cover that today, but in 2 weeks we have another webinar for advanced reporting, and so we encourage you to sign up for that. And the most important next step, though, is try a promotion you've never tried before. Advertise in a way that you've never advertised before. Test it and see what happens. Remember, promoting is part of the art and joy of retailing. So be creative and have some fun. Give people a reason to get back into your store and to re-engage with you. I hope you from this webinar that you've got a few ideas that you and learned a thing or two that you didn't know that you can do. And good luck to everyone as you do your promotions over the coming weeks.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.